Hey everybody, this is Tony, and I'm here today with a special guest, none other than the woman herself, Miss DREA Kelly. How you doing today?
I am well. How are you, love? I'm blessed and highly favored. I have nothing to complain about.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm doing good. I'm doing even better now that I have you.
Oh, thank you.
No problem, no problem. Of course, a lot has been going on within the past year, with this virus and everything. So, how have you been doing in coping with that?
Actually, I contracted the virus. So I was down for about 2 months. This
Wow.
COVID-19, this old coronavirus rolling, she ain't nothing nice. It is real. And what the funny thing, I was doing all the precautions, making sure I'm staying in, washing your hands, wearing the mask, just
Right.
going out to get the essentials, gas, groceries, what have you, and still, you know, but the pandemic itself and being at home and being in entertainment, when our industry shut down, you had to reinvent. You had, as everybody is saying, you had to
Yes.
pivot and figure out, oh, okay, how do I do this thing called life as an entertainer when there's no more filming, when studios are shut down, production has come to an end. So now you've like, okay, this digital age, I have to make it work for me. But we kind of saw it come in when you had things like Netflix and Hulu and Roku sticks and interactive. So you just had to figure that thing out. But it was really a blessing. It really was, because it allowed you to spend not only time by yourself, time with God, separate from people that you did not need in your life, the
Right.
excess, the things that we were spending money on, going to eat and Starbucks and shopping, all of those things to bring fulfillment and happiness during this pandemic. You had to find that within yourself. You had to
Mm-hmm.
be your own best friend, as Miss Beyonce would say, baby. It was me, myself, and I for real. It was really a good thing. So I hope that that's what people took out of it, because that's what I took out of it. And I learned a lot about myself, things that you attract in your life, things that you can detract out of your life. It was a beautiful thing for me. It also taught me about relationships, and relationships like mathematics, honey. Some people come in to add, some people come to subtract in your life, some people come to divide, and some people
Right.
come to multiply to make you better. And you need to figure out who that is and if you are that person in somebody else's life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Listen, you need to just go ahead and be a motivational speaker at this point, because you listen. I don't know where you get this stuff from, but you just. I listened to your interview with Diamond that you did on her 32 Flavors podcast, and
Yes.
I listen. I love that. Just to be able to be real, you know what I'm saying, and not only that, but to be able to talk about some real stuff and be able to give some real advice that people can take. That's what I get from you, regardless of, the negative stuff. You really do provide a platform and a place for people to, tell their stories, but not only that, for you to share yours and give them actual advice that they can use in their life. So, I think that's something that's very rare right now, but it is needed, so I think you need to just get out here and get on some kind of tour or something, because this motivational speaker, I believe, is your calling.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's what I have been doing before COVID for almost 2 years straight. That's all I did, internationally and nationally, travel and speak at universities, private sectors brought me out. So that's what I have been doing. And it's funny you say that, because I don't really look at myself as a motivational speaker as
Right.
much as I see myself as a transformational speaker. Because
Mm,
I think to motivate somebody, that has to come from within. Because no matter
right.
how much I sit down and talk to you, it has to be in you. But I think sometimes we need somebody to kind of help us transform and figure that thing out, and decode, okay, what is this? And why do I do this? And why does this happen? I
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
think it is my calling. The irony of my life is my grandfather was a Baptist preacher, but he was also the first man that I ever saw abuse a woman. So God,
Mm.
love, and pain were all one for me at a very young age. But it is just something that I'm very comfortable. I think because I believe in being transparent and just telling the story. It is what it is. There's no other way to tell it. There can't
Right.
be the fake. There can't be the fluff. I created a mantra for myself that says, I have cracks, but I'm not broken. It's your cracks that people are attracted to. Because of our cracks, the light of God shines through. So it's those things that you share with people that they go, oh, I'm not by myself, or I can relate, or I understand. And being real with it, like everybody thinks that the celebrity world is, oh, red carpet, but baby, A lot of people want to be on the red carpet, but they don't want what's under the red
That's
carpet.
right.
That's
That's
that's a
right.
whole nother life. So I want women, young women, girls, really anybody who takes anything from my life to look at my life and say, you know what? Drea went through the storm, but the storm isn't what matters. It's how she came out of it.
Absolutely. Of course, now, since the pandemic has started, and people have been going through, a lot of people have started talking about mental health, something that we should have been talking about a long time ago, much more. But how do you keep your mental health intact, and what do you do to stay sane, not only during times like these, but in life period?
Having mental balance. Sometimes people think that mental health is you put up this air that everything is okay. No,
Hmm.
ma'am, Pam. When I tell you I have that good old funeral open casket, my grandmama died cry sometimes. That is a part of the healing. I think that we should take the word healed out of our vocabulary unless we are speaking of a scar or an injury. When
Yes.
it comes to mental health, we're ever evolving, ever changing. So that means we will be continually healing to the day that we die. I often tell people that life is like when you go to the hospital and you're in pain and you get in there and the nurse is like, let me just give you something to get you comfortable. And then we'll have the doctor come in and talk to you. Even though the pain dissipated and the pain isn't as intense as before she gave you the pain medicine, the source of the pain never went away.
Right.
So
Right.
that's how life is. The intensity of the pain will dissipate as we heal, but the source of the pain will never go away. And I think that we need to make people okay with that and quit teaching people, oh, you should be over that by now. That happened when you were 10, or like people try to tell me, well, girl, that was 15 years ago you divorced him.
Hmm.
The source of my pain will never go away, but the intensity will, as long as I'm doing the work. That's your healing medicine. That's your pain medicine,
That's
the
right.
work that you're doing. Crying when you need to. Like my kids, I have a saying in my house, you can lay down, but you can't stay down.
Hmm.
Everybody needs that moment where, you know what, it's not okay, and that's okay. And that's how I keep a balance with my mental health, having people in my life that I can see it's not okay today, and their response is, but that's okay too. In my house, we're not allowed to disregard our pain. A lot of people are, teach you, well, you got to go on. There's something wrong. You just say, I'm okay. I don't teach that to my children. We don't live that way in my house. If something's going on and it's not a good day, our saying in our house is, I'm not okay, but I will be. And
Right.
feel
Right.
whatever you feel in that moment.
Yeah.
And again, being transparent. Like every day is not a good day. But the flip side of
Right.
that coin is every day is not a bad day either.
Yeah.
And taking the stigma out of going to therapy. I feel like God has a team. Is God, Jesus, and the therapist is his hype man.
That's
Like
right.
what we're doing.
That's
Look,
right.
the therapist is his hype man or his hype woman. It's okay. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, what we gonna do?
Come on
We
now.
need to get away from that, especially in our community of thinking, oh, you just take it to your prayer closet or you leave it on the altar. You can take it to your prayer closet, leave it to your altar, and go hit your therapist for 150 an hour. Yes, I believe in that.
Right.
Because you know that that is an option and it's not a stigma. It's a very healthy thing. And also boundaries. Mental health is about boundaries.
Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
because it's your mother, your father, your husband doesn't mean they have a right to violate you. I teach women, when you take a vow, you say to death do us part, not you get to be the death of me.
That's
And
right.
sometimes the death of me is a mental death every day, emotional, the verbal, the physical. At some point, you have a right to say, no, you don't get to walk in my life. And I keep it 100, 100, probably more than 100% real with people. Not today.
Yeah.
Done. That's
Yeah.
it. It needs no other explanation. Not today. It's not a good day.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think a lot of people, I always tell people, a lot of times when you have an issue or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it might be, it can be something simple, it can be something big. But I always tell people, why are you focusing on the problem as opposed to focusing on the solution? Because you talking about the problem all the time tells me that you almost want to be stuck on this sometimes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when you start saying, you know what, I fell down, but I'm looking for a way to get back up, that's what tells me what kind of person you are right there, because you're like, I'm not trying to stay in this. I'm trying to move forward, but I might not have all the tools. I might not know how to, but I know that I need to get to this place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to just stay right here. But those people who just say, you know what, I failed, but it's no use of getting up. I might as well just stay right here because that kind of thing. I'm just like, okay,
Because you can't want someone else's healing for them more than they do.
right.
You can't want somebody's dream to come true for them more than they do. At the end of the day, you're hitting your head on a brick wall, literally. And
Yes.
some people, they don't know the art of self-responsibility and being self-respected and being like, you know what? Some of this is me. Like, yeah, I grew up
Right.
and it was hard, but some of this is me. Some of this is what I choose. And some of us get rewarded for helplessness. And that's the road that we choose because we feel like if I pretend to be helpless, then people will help me. I get the love and attention that I'm seeking, when
Mm-hmm.
really the love and attention that I'm seeking, I have to go inward to find. And then you just have some people like, we got to be real. And I believe in motivation, and speaking and transformational speaking. But at the end of the day, some people just don't give a damn. They don't care. They're all right
Oh,
with where they are. Complacency is their best friend. And those are the people we have to say, I've done all I can do. If you don't want to do better for yourself, there's nothing I can do for you.
yeah. Like, what do you want me to do if you just, a matter of fact, you can give them a solution and it's like,
You have a
yeah,
problem
but
for the solution. There will be a problem for the solution.
yeah,
Most
come on now.
definitely. That and some people are just wired that way. But once you've done all that you can do, I think that it's time to walk away when you start to feel depleted, when you start feeling like I'm not giving all that I can. When you have, it's just like I said,
Mm-hmm.
they just have a problem for every solution. And you don't need that type of energy in your life
Right.
at all. And you have that right. And I don't understand why people feel like, well, that's your mama. No, you're not supposed to. Just because it's your blood, it's
Exactly.
your family, it's your kids. No, you're not. Like, I teach that to my children. You have to live your best life, and I have to live mine. Because at the end of the day, when I die, when they put me in the casket, they're not gonna tell all three of my kids, now y'all jump in, y'all going to glory.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
Drea's going to glory. Y'all have to sit here and live your life. We have to live our lives like that every single day. This is mine, and what am I going to do with it? And not only that, I have to protect it and choose who I share it with,
Yeah.
because you can always get out and make more money, but I will never make more time. So that is precious and invaluable. So I have to decide who gets it, from blood or non-related, friends, job, and even yourself. Sometimes you have to look in the mirror and be like, girl, I'm sick of you today.
That's
I
right.
need you to get it together today,
That's
ma'am.
right.
You wearing me out.
Yes.
But people don't want to take that responsibility because it's easier to say it's everybody else, it's the environment, it's my parents, it's how I grew up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
That's
guess
not
what?
true.
You can always, find a different way, or you can always learn a different way because guess what? You never stop learning until you die.
You
So
never stop.
you can always do something different. I tell people that all the time. You can do something different. I don't have to be what I saw. I don't have to be what I was taught. It's just like those people who are racist. Like, yeah, they were taught that growing up, but you don't have to be that. You know what I'm saying? Conversations can be had, and you can say, "Hey, what's the issue here?" You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But you don't have to be what you were taught or what you seen. Like, because I seen my mother be a drunk, I don't have to be a drunk. Like, in fact, for me, it makes me do the opposite. But everybody is not like that. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But everybody is different, of course. And speaking of those kinds of things, you also have a platform for domestic violence that you talk about, obviously. So for you, how do you maneuver telling your story and also dealing with people who give you backlash in telling your story? So how do you deal with wanting to help women and have women come at you at the same time when you know what your story is?
Well, in the beginning, it was difficult. Like I say, I'm 100. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, when I first came out and told my story, I thought it was gonna be kumbaya and all women, we were gonna come together and conquer the world. And the news flash, no, ma'am, Pam, it was not like that. I did not have my cheering team that I thought I was going to have. But
Right.
I will say 99.9% is positive. And you
Okay.
do have some negative people out there. I just had to take my ego out of it, and my feelings were getting hurt. But when I really took the position that I'm a vessel and I'm here to do God's work, and I have to share my story. I survived for a reason, and that my life is bigger than me. It gave me the strength and the courage to keep going in the face of adversity, in the face of people's opinions. And the odd thing about it was, most of the people that had the most negative things to say, you've never met me. never
Right.
had a conversation with me.
Right.
You never lived a day in my house. So it's just amazing to me how so many people have so much to say about a home you never lived in, a marriage you were never in, and kids you never delivered. But honey, psychic hotline, I guess Cleo's work is still going on because y'all know so much. I really had to find the funny part and the humor in it, that people really just ignorantly will speak on a subject that they have no
No
clue about.
idea.
They don't educate themselves on domestic violence and the cycles of domestic violence and
Mm-hmm.
how it occurs. They have no idea the strength that it even takes to even walk away from a situation like that, and the mental strain that you go through, and depletion of your self-esteem, and physically how difficult it is from going through the beatings and just physically trying to heal from that,
Yeah.
mentally trying to heal. The financial parts of it, people say, well, why don't you just leave? Where am I going with absolutely no money? He has control of all of the finances. 9 times out of 10, when women do that, they end up back with the abuser, because either you end up in a shelter living in your car, then the abuser
Mm-hmm.
takes you to court and says, you're an unfit mother, you took my kids out of a home, now they're living in a car. So people don't understand, it's a domino effect to that.
Oh
But
yeah.
once I realized that it's about me educating and helping women and giving them a voice and being a power for the powerless, I was like, y'all bring it on. But here's one thing y'all need to know: y'all didn't read the fine print. Sometimes in life we choose our path, and sometimes in life your path is chosen.
Yes.
Mine was chosen by God. So you playing with God's work. You're not coming after DREA. You're not attacking DREA. You're
Mm-hmm.
attacking God's work. So you might be a little careful in what you're doing, because this is about saving lives. And I thought it was just really odd that people find it entertaining to victim shame and victim blame, and they don't even realize they're using the same tactics as the abuser: the
Exactly.
shame, the
Exactly.
blame, and the guilt. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's very ironic that people want to judge me and come against me, but then you're using the same tactics as an abuser. And
Mm-hmm.
most people don't get it. Why? Because, like I said, they haven't even educated themselves on the topic of domestic violence. So they're speaking ignorantly. But I say that people opt to be ignorant too. You don't want
Yeah.
to. You just want to go on here with your Twitter thumbs, you gangster thumbs, and you just want to have something to say and show your girlfriends where you added somebody and said something. But 9 times out of 10, the very ones that speak so viciously and spit so much venom at me, they're in abusive relationships and don't even realize it. They think that
Yeah.
ghetto love, that fighting, that arguing, oh, he only snatched me, he pushed me one time, or I remember that one time we was fighting at a barbecue. They think that that's normal. So they look at me, they can't even fathom you're already in it. And they don't even
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
that the mental, emotional, sexual, financial is already the precursor to the physical abuse that you get into, and they don't even realize it, which is even more sad. So I know that I have so much work to do, that
Yes.
I'm okay with it. And if it was for one person, like I tell you, if it was for one person, I did my job. And it's
Right.
not
Right.
about you, it's about the ones that I saved, that mother who will never end up like me on a balcony willing to jump off of it and leave her 3 babies behind. So when people realize that this is bigger than DREA, this is about saving lives, hopefully they get it. But again, like we said, some never will. Some
Exactly.
never will.
Exactly.
And they will stay in them toxic relationships and judge from afar, and will have a generation of people growing up in toxic, abusive relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you also have a foundation for domestic violence as well. Is that correct?
Yes, the 12th Round Foundation. So I named it the 12th Round Foundation because if anybody knows anything about boxing, that 12th round, that's that title round, honey. That's, and I say, like, it's the fight of your life. You're
Yes.
fighting for your life. And my grandmother, unfortunately, the one that was married to my grandfather, she passed away, and I felt like she never got her voice. She never got to live her life as a survivor. And my other grandmother, my mother, my maternal grandmother, she
Hmm.
went through a lot of domestic violence herself. So I was like, you know what? I am that one that's going to break that generational curse, that I don't want my children to grow up thinking that this is commonplace and normal, and I have
Right.
to make that change. So I started the foundation because we celebrate the women who made it out, we commemorate the women that we lost, and we
Hmm.
educate the community, women, men, because it happens to men too. And we
Oh
have to be
yeah.
very, very clear. Guess what? A cast iron skillet will crack the skull of a woman just like a man. A knife will pierce the side of a woman just like it will a man. A
Hmm.
bullet can go through the head of a woman just like it can a man. And sometimes it's even harder for men, because how do you go to a police station and the first thing they say, that little woman, you couldn't control her? You mean to tell me you let her do that to you? So
Mm-hmm.
their manhood is challenged, and they don't even realize that men can be abused verbally, emotionally, sexually, financially, physically, just like a woman. So that's why I started the 12th Round Foundation, because I felt like it needed to be a safe place and an organization where people felt comfortable, could tell their stories, and felt like they had a community where they're supported.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the website for people who might want to visit?
So you can go to DREAKellyIs.com, and
Okay.
you will find some of my speaking engagements. I also do my dance fitness classes. I have my Hemi Rose jewelry and t-shirt apparel line. There's so much that you can go on there and see. You can click and see photos. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is official DREA Kelly, DREAKELLY, and it's just DREA Kelly on Twitter and Facebook. I'm also on Cameo. So if
Okay.
somebody needs to go on Cameo and they want me to send that good old check your email message of the day, they can do that too. And honey, after that, if you can't find a girl, you need to Google.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I can't hold you though. I know you got to go, but you definitely got to come back. I want to talk some more to you about your dancing choreography and all that great stuff. So you definitely got to come back
Yes.
soon, please.
Yes, I will. And thank you for having me, love. And I don't know when this airs, but if it airs before Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And if it does air after, happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
All right, and definitely happy Mother's Day to you. I definitely hope you enjoy. I know a lot of us will be watching the Escape at SWV verses, and hopefully you got something great planned, or the kids got some great planned for you. Hopefully,
Well,
so
hopefully I'm doing absolutely nothing. That's what I want for Mother's Day. Don't ask me nothing. Don't tell me nothing. Don't what nothing. That's what I want.
there you go.
Nothingness.
There you go. It's all good, anyways. But Drea, I love you. I thank you so very much. Thank you for just being open and honest and being yourself, because that's just you. I can tell. Like I said, and continue to shine, continue to be you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
I love you too. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
Like,
Bye.